Hi, everyone, and welcome to another Earth Thursday at Lavanya. And yeah, we're going to do some emotional clearing today, and we're going to do a group process. But what I would like you to kind of tune into now is really like for your being right now, what is something that you want to let go of? What is something that you want to release? What's something you would love to transform? Maybe it's something you're holding on to that you no longer, want to entangle with, right? Maybe it's something you want more of in your life. But also know that in order to get something more of something, we first have to make room. I kind of compare our minds to a garage that's like full of stuff to the ceiling. You can't even open the door. And now you want this new thing. And you don't have no longer have any room in the garage. So what needs to happen? We have to open that door and start taking stuff out of it. If it's been in that garage for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years, maybe, and you haven't used it really, or it's not really benefiting you, it's time to let that go. It's time to take those boxes out of the garage and put them out, and so you have that space. Always know, like I have a lot of people that come to me and say, I want more of this, I want more of that. It's like, what are you willing to let go of? You can have anything you want in your life. We're manifesting beings. I don't have to teach you how to manifest something. You're already doing that. It might not be exactly as you consciously want, but know that you are manifesting everything that shows up in your reality. And that's always coupled to something that lives within you, right? The inside comes first. And when the inside changes, that's when we give permission for something new to come on the outside. So before we get started, I just want to, if somebody wants to share of what it is that they would love to let go of or what they would want more of, then that's great. I don't have to know. You can just keep it to yourself. These processes work regardless. But if you know what it is, I can take it into account and weave it into my language, so the process becomes even more powerful for you. I don't know if anybody wants to chime in or share with the group. It's your call.
Nico, I'll play with you, but let's make room for others. Oh, there's Zane's hand up. And Marcia.
Same.
Yeah, you know, it's a great question. I If I were to sum it up, it's like at this stage in my life, I'm in my 70s now, and they say you don't live forever.
What you do?
But there is the eternal, and that's what I find myself focusing on more and more are the enduring truths of my existence and what I can take with me. It's not over when I die. I'm coming back with information of this
Hmm.
life experience. And so I'm faced with on a physical manifest level is um, a storage unit full of my past.
Mm.
And it's been narrowed down to, I've gone from a huge house and, family members and life and all that accumulation over the years, but I pared it down, but still it's there. And so it's like, where do I begin? How to get going with this. So I kind of freeze time. I go, when I start something, I'm doing like right now in this moment, I'm okay. Everything is perfect.
Hmm.
And so kind of freeze frame each little step toward that. Um, but yeah, I think my psyche would feel much better because I'm aware now as I'm evolving that there are these pockets of past that attachments that I need to take a look at and honor and let go yet another level. So that's where I'm at right now. And
Perfect.
good topic. Mhm.
Well, let's look at empty out that storage unit, and then as we go, get your bigger one so you get some new stuff in there. Thank you for sharing. Pat, you had something? Or
Well, Marcia and Patricia.
I still have a person in my life that has shown me again some issues that have caused me some hurt and some anger.
Mhm.
And this is still going, and I've worked through it, but obviously it's been thrown in my face again. So
Well, there's kind of a saying that those that make it the hardest in their physical life, that on the other side, on their soul level, they're the best friends. Because it's easy to play the role of being the nice, the good person for somebody in this realm, but we grow from the interactions that give us the most challenge. And I kind of had that relationship with my father. It was always challenging from a young age, but him and I had some breakthroughs right before he passed. And then I realized that later on, that some of the things that my father would bring up, that working through those were the ones that for me yielded the biggest breakthroughs in my own life, because everything in your reality on the outside is a mirror of what you strongest believe in on the inside. And when I say believe, remember, I'm not talking about the thoughts. I'm talking about the things that give us the strongest feelings. Those are usually, indicators of what unconsciously we're still holding on to. And when we're holding on to that, to something that is not aligned with the real truth of who we are, our body that knows responds to that with a feeling of what we would consider a negative or a challenging feeling. That is our internal GPS telling us that whatever the underlying belief is not aligned with the real truth of us as divine and spiritual beings. So I call those feelings, those are our GPS. It's the unconscious mind, our higher self, leading us on a path by giving us feedback on, on what route to take and which route not to take, right? And when we ignore that guidance, then that feeling becomes more and more unbearable until we turn the steering wheel and heading to the direction that is in alignment with our higher truth and with us as being divine beings. So I hope that helps. Thank you. Patricia, you have something?
I'm very glad that Marcia brought up what she brought up, because it reminded me of where I could use that too, because I know I read in Dr. Sue Morter's books, the energy codes, that when we're on the other side and we're ready to come in, we say, who will come in and hurt me so bad that I'll have to forgive you this lifetime? And so I can relate to that and see who it was or who and that I asked for it. And so now it's up to me to remember that. So I'm remembering that. However, and it wasn't until Marcia said that it made me remember that. Because what I'm wanting to release is, I know we're all spiritual beings. I know we're having a physical experience here, and I know I'll be fine. However, there is inside of me this little fear that Bob is going to go before me. We're in our 80s. He just turned 85 in February. I will be 84 September 16th. So, we're moving along. And I don't know why, because I'm very self-sufficient. I take care of a lot of things. However, there is a part of me that says, you can't do this alone. you are, you know, you don't want to be alone. You want him to stay, which
Mhm.
I definitely do, but he is gonna go when he's gonna go. And I don't want to be fearful of that I can't take care of things in his absence.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go of that,
Mhm.
totally.
That is great, and that's such a good point because guess what? Even before Bob, you were taken care of, right? And creation, you know, took care of you. And ultimately, it's, you know, even though we have persons that are very supportive in our life, ultimately what supports all of us and all of creation is source. And it always will, because even if you go back, think about all the doubts you had, you know, that you weren't going to be taken care of, and see what showed up in your life, right? So thank you for sharing that. I can very much relate to that. And yeah, the reason that feels bad is because your higher self is telling you, hey, there's something flawed in your logic here. Hey, Patricia, there's some limiting belief now that doesn't align with your higher self, with the ultimate truth of your being. And to come back to what Zane said, it's like, you know, the part that comes through the senses that we perceive and our consciousness, that all dissolves at the time of passing. What goes with us is the things, good or bad, that we've repeated so many times to where they're all the way into those more subtle layers of ourself. And that imprint, right? That is really, you know, what we maintain going from lifetime to lifetime, at least from my limited perspective, right? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. Pat, you had something you want to share?
Yeah, so you know, you already know the precursor to this and the work we were doing together in the last week. And you know, to summarize that for everybody else, it's just a lot of things came up in the same way for me. And it was like there were just too many of them, too many sticky areas of life. And it's like, where does this all unite? And it all united in just an enormous amount of behaviors that weren't coming from my heart. And
Mhm.
so if I just shift that and come from my heart, then all those areas resolve. And so
Mhm.
that was an amazing breakthrough. And Nico, it's like a fever broke. Like it just doesn't have the same hold over me anymore, which is amazing. But there's another layer that has particularly to do with when my needs aren't getting met and my capacity to see what my needs are and then to articulate from my heart from that. Been seeing some real rough edges on that in the last 24 hours. And
Mhm.
so that's the focus is like being able to get my needs met from my heart with loving communication rather than the patterns that I know now.
Yeah. Well, let me give you something for that. Know that your needs are always met. It might not be the needs that you consciously think that you have,
Yeah,
but your needs are always met. Even though if it's bringing challenge or strife, that is a meeting of your need, of
that's such a
something
good
that you want to
insight.
let go of. Your
Yeah,
ego needs are not always met. Your ego needs are not always met, but the needs from your higher self are always met.
it's so good.
Is that what Rolling Stones meant?
What do you say?
Is that what the Rolling Stones meant when it says what is it?
You
You
can't
can
always
only
get
get
what
what
you
you want,
want.
but you get what you need.
Let's get what
You
you
always
need.
get what you need.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. I hadn't even thought of that. That's a good way of putting it.
Ironically, Marcia, I used to sing that to my kids all the time. I'm like, well, you can't always get what you want. So,
Try sometimes, you just might find you get what you need.
so thanks for bringing that around. That's really deep insight, Nico. That cuts through a lot of it just right there.
Yeah. So you can trust that. You know, nothing shows up in our reality that's not needed. We might not get it right away, but everything that we experience, all the challenges that we go through, trust me, it's always exactly what you need. So the sooner we surrender the judgment of saying I don't need this or that, the quicker we move through it. And that doesn't mean you have to accept in a way everything shows up, but guess what? It did. Just trust that there is a higher intelligence that's coordinating all of this for us to help us, move towards what we really want, right? But it's kind of like, I think it was Patricia saying earlier that we make those agreements, or Marcia. It's kind of like we talk to a personal trainer before we go in the gym and say, I really want this or that, and he's going to be like, hey, when we're in that workout, it's going to hurt. Yeah, I know, but we got to do it. And then we're in the midst of the workout. We're like, oh my God, I cannot believe that slave driver that he's like, making me suffer so much. But then later on, we walk out of the gym, or 2 months later, we see like, holy moly, I actually got what I wanted. Yes. Yeah, Marcia.
Sure. Sure, something I heard that I like a lot.
Richard. Yeah, go ahead.
So I was listening to Joe Dispenza speaking, and he said something to the effect that your challenges is an opportunity to demonstrate your greatness. Don't be afraid of them. It is that challenge which allows you to demonstrate to yourself and to everyone else what you're capable of. So don't be afraid.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful.
Without the challenges, what have you got? You haven't grown, you haven't demonstrated anything.
Yeah.
So don't fear it. Yeah.
Beautiful. All right.
With all the challenges that I have gone through in this week, it's probably the first time that I had to have enough faith that I felt like I was falling. I knew I was going to be caught. I had no idea what was going to happen, and I just surrendered and just was amazed as to how things have turned out. I'm still shaking over it, and I think I fell on a couple of rocks on the way down, but it was really interesting because for the first time I realized I have no control. I had no idea what was going to happen, and it was totally Source that had to take care of me, and I was falling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we just keep getting back up. That's the only thing that matters. And Patricia, I get to you in a second. Hey, Megan, you were joined a little later. Thank you. I just want you to put some thought into something that you want to release, that you want to let go of, or something you want more of. And then we're going to start in a few minutes, and just let your unconscious mind percolate a little bit there, and know that those things you thought of right before the process, they will come up later for release. Okay. Patricia.
When you said you may not get what you want, you'll get what you need, all of a sudden I realized what I want is this feeling of security that I'm going to be okay if Bob is not here with me anymore because he's passed into the light. However, what I need is a feeling of security in here, that the spirit that lives and breathes me, that is what takes care of me.
That's
not
right.
Bob.
That's right.
That spirit. I have to remember that I'm strong enough to be able to do this with that. I don't need a person to make me feel stronger.
Yeah.
So I won't get what I want, which is for him to stay, which he will for as long as his soul contract is. But what I need is to realize that.
Yeah, and know that Bob's a manifestation of that spirit too.
Yes.
And that the ultimate thing that we can say about this reality is that nothing is permanent, everything always shifts, and it's always dynamic, and it just is always a reflection of where we're at, which is a constantly changing thing. But that part of you that we tuned into in the other call, the part of you that's always been there, that never shifts, that's aware of this, that will always be with you. That's your eternal part. And nothing can take that away from you. Not even you if you try to.
Thanks for that reminder, even if I tried to.
All right. Awesome. So yeah, Zane.
A game changer for me, a little mantra. My everyday life mantra is things are happening for me, not to me. And so I try to suspend any judgment, any conclusions when the shit is coming down, so to speak. But really, I'm finding that changes my perspective and my mind state in daily life. And so, I'm ready for anything. I kind of with that perspective. And so that has helped quite a bit. And something else I was going to mention, but
Yeah, that was good.
that's it for now. But yeah, I mean, it's no longer, it gets me out of victimhood. And
Yeah.
victimhood can be so subtle. And
Yeah.
I'll catch myself. And ultimately it's disempowering. So it's an empowering process to keep that on the table. And oh yeah, here's the other piece is um I turn to the universe now and I go, show me I can trust you. And I'll have to say that gesture has really come through for me.
Mm-hmm.
And it builds the trust more.
Yeah.
Always uh, always on the table, grist to the mill, but it's a good direction.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Shiomi, you joined a little late. It's great to have you here. We're going to start the process here in a few minutes. All I would like you to do right now is just think of something you want to let go of in your life, something you want to release, and maybe, some things that you want more of in your life. Just put a little bit of thought into that. And we're going to start in the process in a few minutes. It's going to take about half hour, so I want to do that in one flow, so you can just prepare by by giving that some thought before the process, because that carries on in the process now. Few things about this process, like you can just look at it as a guided meditation, right? And it is just a matter of being playful. Don't try to do it right or whatever, just be playful with it. And when I ask you to, for example, reach out and touch something, if you act it out and you engage your body in it, it just becomes more powerful, because what the body acts out, the mind considers real. Right? If you really imagine eating an apple, oh, the juices start flowing, right? So that shows you this mind-body feedback loop. And the more we use that, as I explained, in other calls, is that the body really helps make that bridge between the higher realms and then where we feel it in the body. It's always our anchor point. It's the nexus point where all the subtle realms, the emotions, the mental, the spiritual body, that's all where they're anchored in the body, right? And if it's something we want to let go of, the moment we reach out and touch something and connect it to where we feel it, now you're in your aura where you touch it, and then you move through all the bodies all the way to where it's anchored. And that's the way to create the most powerful change. That's why in our processes, we're just not laying there as a sack of potatoes, but we're actually get the body engaged. When the meat get engaged, more of our neurology is involved in the process, which means more energy is into the process, meaning that you can get your results you might not even believe you'd be able to get in one process. So that's the secret. Be playful. If your mind comes in and second guess you, remember, always go with that first impression. If something comes in and say, did I get that right? For damn sure you got it right, because that's your conscious mind now that just came in. Conscious, it's only in your conscious mind that doubt exists. The part of the consciousness that we're going to tap into the process already knows what's right for you. And it's that higher self, it's that deeper part of yourself that has been guiding you all the way. And sometimes it might look like challenge, which is like, hey, you got to go a little deeper. I invite you to go a little deeper, right? So just go with that first impression and be playful, be like little children. The more playful we are, the more plastic our brain becomes, the quicker the changes are. Okay. Great. Looks like everybody's ready. Can I ask you to mute if you're not muted yet, just in case something happens so we don't disturb the group. So let me see. Pattern. Okay, awesome. All right, everybody, let's roll. So now that you've thought about what it is that you want to release, that what you want to let go of, your unconscious mind already what you know what you're getting at, you can just let that go now. So all I want you to do is just I want you to put your feet flat on the floor and close your eyes. And then I want you to just take a deep breath in and let that breath out with a sigh. Ah, deeper and deeper with every breath you take, with every beat of your heart. Any sounds you hear besides the sound of my voice, sounds of a busy environment, people talking, trains of thought moving in and out, simply move you deeper and deeper. All I'd like you to do is just take another deep breath. That's right, let it out with a sigh. And just focus all of your attention on the lids of your eyes. That's right. And all I want you to do is relax and let go. You can shift and move and change your posture. Anything that makes you more comfortable and that allows you to go deeper and deeper into a wonderful state of relaxation, a wonderful state of focus, absorption, and attention. And it's not necessary to trance out completely. It's only necessary to relax, have fun, and play pretend. What I'd like you to do next is to focus all of your attention on the lids of your eyes and begin to relax those teeny tiny muscles in your eyelids, relaxing them so fully, so completely. More and more relaxed with every breath you take, with every beat of your heart, making them so completely relaxed that you couldn't actually open them up without putting more tension into them. And when you know you've got them that relaxed, so relaxed they just won't work, give them a little test to be sure. And when you know it's done, just stop testing. Now let that level of relaxation spread all the way from the top of your head, all the way down to the tips of your toes. Deeper and deeper with every breath you take and every beat of your heart. Just double and triple that sense of relaxation, of connection, of being able to play pretend and interface with another level of your awareness. A level of your awareness where anything that you can intend, anything you can act out, anything you can imagine must become true and real for you in all the very best of ways. Going deeper and deeper still with every breath you take and every beat of your heart. That's right, you're all doing great. Now, in a moment, not yet, but in just a moment, I'm going to ask you to imagine the alphabet backwards, starting with the letter Z. And all I'd like you to do with every breath you take and every beat of your heart is allow those letters to be relaxed completely from your mind. Allow them to become smaller and darker and harder to see. Turn that volume all the way down, down, down. Just allow it to take place, or just let those letters go completely. They can come back later, but for right now, all I want you to do is play pretend and have some fun. And when they're all gone, just let me know by nodding your head with honest and unconscious movements so I know we can move on to the next part of your process. And if for any reason the letters have not yet disappeared, don't worry, because they'll leave as I continue to talk to you. And as we're doing this process as a group, know that some of you process more quickly and others more slowly. That's normal. Everybody moves at their own pace. Just follow along and know that if you heard my suggestions, so has your other than conscious mind. And your other than conscious mind will keep processing these suggestions and ensure the process is complete at your own pace. Now, in a moment, not yet, but in just a moment, I'm going to count from 5 to 1. And as I count from 5 to 1, you'll deepen this state. You'll go even deeper and deeper still. And no matter how far inside you travel, no matter how deep inside you go, you'll always be here be able to hear my words and follow my instructions, not because I say so, but because you realize deep inside your mind, body, and soul that everything I'm about to say and everything I'm about to do is for you, to help you live the life you want by your standards and definitions. So you can attract the things into your life you want and systemically expunge, delete, or remove the things that no longer serve you, the things that no longer give you the benefits you want. Number 5, going deeper, drifting, dreaming, flowing deeper and deeper still. Number 4, down, down, down. Number 3, going deeper and deeper still. 2, 1. You're all doing great. Now, in a moment, not yet, but in just a moment, I want you to use that amazing imagination I know all of you have. And imagine yourself standing inside of a hallway, and there's a door in front of you. And this door is the most perfect door you can imagine. The door that if you could design the door that was right for you is the perfect door on the planet. And when you're ready, all I want you to do is reach out with your hand and touch the opening device. That's right, excellent. And just go inside and close the door behind you. And I'd like you to take a look around and find yourself in a really cool place, a familiar place, a dome-shaped room with pearly gray walls. It's kind of like being inside of a large gray egg. And in the center of the room, you see this beautiful circular fireplace with this beautiful roaring fire. And that fire, as it crackles and rises up out of that fireplace, bathes you with a warmth and energy that sustains and nourishes you. It's like every cell of your body opens, like the bloom of a flower, to drink in that amazing energy, giving your mind, your body, and your spirit everything it most wants and everything it most needs in an infinite, ever expanding, and unlimited supply. And every part of your mind feels nurtured, nourished, and cared for in all the right ways. Now, as you look around in this room, you'll notice that on the wall are what looks like these colored squares. And a part of you instinctively realizes that one set of squares, they represent all the awesome things about yourself, all the things that make you feel strong, confident, worthy, and deserving, desirable, attractive, and stoppable in every way. The things you consciously remember, the things you consciously understand, but more importantly, the things you unconsciously remember, the things you unconsciously understand, the secret strengths and attributes and abilities, skills and knowledge and beliefs that activate when you need to bring your A game and when you need to be on top of things. They're on that wall. These things activate and make you unbeatable and unstoppable. Things you consciously remember, things you consciously understand, but more importantly, the things you unconsciously remember, the things you unconsciously understand. Now, those other sets of squares, well, they represent all that other stuff. All the things that make you feel less than confident, less than worthy, less than deserving. The things that are holding you back, or even make you feel bad about yourself in any way, shape, or form. Things that cause you to say things you don't want to say, or things you don't want to do, or, as is often the case, to not say the things you know you need to say, or to not do the things that you know you need to do. They're on that wall too. Things you consciously remember and understand, and of course, the things you unconsciously remember, the things you unconsciously understand. Now, there's one thing that's for certain about everything that's on that wall, whether it's something that makes you feel awesome or something that you want to get rid of. If it's on that wall, it has already been vetted by your other than conscious mind to be cleared, to pass on for removal or change in whatever way you desire. That's right. What I'd like you to do now is I'd like you to just go to one of those colored squares that represents a less than positive belief, memory, or experience. And all I'd like you to do is to reach out with your dominant hand, and I'd like you to go ahead and touch one of those squares. that represents a less than positive belief or experience. Go ahead and reach out and touch that for me. And then I want you to notice as you touch that square that there is a place in your body where that feeling starts that's connected to this. Go ahead and point to it with your other hand. That's right. Now go ahead and rip that square right off the wall. Crumple it up in your hands. And as you crumble it up in your hands, notice that the feelings are starting to shift, to merge, to dissolve, to lose all of its impact on your life forever. Solve and resolve and dissolve from your mind. Solve and resolve from your body for all the right reasons. And when you're ready, go ahead and throw it in the fire. That's right. Whoosh, whoosh. Feel the energy, feel the release, feel that energy rising up and washing over you and around you and through you. And feel that energy go into that space where that old stuff used to be and put in its place everything you most want, need, and desire instead. That's right. Take all the time you need for that process to take place. Let it resolve itself completely. And when you know it's done, I'd like you to test it and try to bring back that old feeling and then notice what happens instead. Did it come back? No. Excellent. When you're ready, and only when you're ready, I want you to reach out with your hand again. Find another one of those squares that represents a less than positive belief, memory, or experience. Reach out and touch that for me with your dominant hand. And then notice where in your body you feel it. That's right. You can touch that spot with your other hand in the body. And when you're ready, now rip that square off the wall. That's right. Crumble it up. Rip it apart. Feel it breaking and dissolving, losing all of its impact over your life forever. Solve and resolve and dissolve from your mind. Solve and resolve and dissolve from your body for all the right reasons. That's right. And when you are ready, into the fire it goes. Whoosh, whoosh. Feel the rush. Feel the release. Feel those energies, wave after wave of that energy, washing over you and around you, bathing you, nourishing you, giving you everything you most want and need and desire instead. That's right. Guys are doing great. Things you're consciously aware of, things you're unconsciously aware of. Just feel that process taking place. That's right. Seeing a lot of smiles. And when you know it's completely done, test it and try to bring back and notice what happens instead. Excellent. You guys are doing fantastic. And when you're ready, here we go again. I want you to reach out with your dominant hand, touch another one of those squares. And when you're ready to get rid of it, boom, crumple it up. And into the fire it goes. That's right. Rip it up. Beautiful. That's right, Patricia. Crumble it up into the fire. Beautiful. Losing all of its impact over your mind, body, and spirit forever. That's right. Into the fire it goes. And feel those flames rising up. Feel that energy double in size and strength, double in force and magnitude. Feel it burning, dissolving, resolving from your mind, solving, dissolving, and resolving from your body forever. And feel everything you most want and need and desire instead flowing into those areas. That's right, filling it up. And when you're ready, but only when you're ready, it's time to demonstrate your power. It's time to take control. It's time to show your neurology what to do. I want you to go through every nook and cranny in this room, and I want you to find every less than positive square. That's right. And I want you to rip it off the wall, crumble it up, and throw it in the fire and feel the transformation. And then just test it to be sure. That's right. You guys go ahead and just start cleaning out that room. And know when it's on that wall, it's already been vetted by your other than conscious mind that it's something to let go of. That's right. Good job, Patricia. There you go, Marcia. That's right. Yeah, boom, whoosh. Beautiful. Feel the release. Feel the rush. Feel that energy of that fire flooding your body, flooding your mind, and solving and dissolving and resolving from your body. Solving and dissolving and resolving from the mind. Take all the time you need to go through this. Take your time to be thorough. Here's another little trick. I want you to check under those positive squares. Sometimes something gets misfiled, and some negative things might be hiding underneath one of those positive squares. So if you get that feeling, I just kind of want you to lift up that positive squares, look under it, and you might find something that's misfiled, and you rip it off the wall and you throw it in the fire. And you just keep testing it and try to bring it back, and you notice what happens. It's dead. That's right. Take all the time you need. You got this. And then feel the rush every time a square goes into this fire. That flame, it just doubles in size, it doubles in strength, doubles in force and magnitude, and all that energy comes flooding into you, doubling your power, giving you what you most want, need, and desire, what you've been waiting for all this time, resolution, for all the right reasons. That's right, keep going. Now, if you'd like some help with this and speed up the process, feel free to call in all the perfect help for you. I have a guy, he loves to use a flamethrower. He just burns all the less than positive squares on the wall. What I've done before is I've called in my ancestors and say like, hey, some of this shit is not mine. So why don't you guys help clean me up if you feel inclined to do so? Then I had a little girl. She was a Harry Potter fan. She would get her magic stick out and just dance all of the squares into the fire. I love dolphins. I call my dolphins in, and I've had them help bring stuff to the fire. Whatever the perfect help is for you, just call it in and have them help you. That's right. You're doing great. Keep going. Notice how good you feel as all these old energies are solving and dissolving and resolving from the body, as they're solving and dissolving and resolving from the mind for all the right reasons. That's right. Take your time. Leave no square unturned. That's right. You guys are doing excellent. Now use your help to take care of all those remaining squares. And then notice how quickly they're being ripped off the wall and flown into the fire. Notice how quickly all those remaining squares are being taken off. That's right, Marcia. That's right. Beautiful. And when there are no less than positive squares left, you can just nod your head with honest and conscious movement to let me know it's complete. So I just know that we can go to the next part of your process. Excellent. That's right. Beautiful. Yeah. And now notice as that last colored square went into that fire, something really amazing is starting to happen. All those remaining squares, all the ones that represent all the best of you, notice how they're starting to glow with this inner radiance, an inner fire, brighter than the sun. And notice how they begin to grow. That's right, how they begin to expand and blend into one another, filling the entire room like a massive, glowing, unstoppable wallpaper, flooding your mind, flooding your body, flooding your spirit, and flooding your soul with everything that's the very best of you. All the things that make you feel strong and confident, worthy and deserving. Notice how you can feel that energy floating into your mind, flooding into your spirit. Take all the time you need to breathe in that energy, to drink that energy in. That's right, until it becomes so strong, so powerful that it's impossible to turn off. Just drink it in an infinite, ever expanding, unlimited supply. And when you know you've got it, when you know it's locked in, test it. Try to turn it off. Try to go back to the old you and notice what happens instead. I've seen Marcia shaking her head. That's right. Can't turn it off. Now, I want you to notice that as you're taking in all this amazing energy, it's starting to lock in. And when you know it's locked in, I just want you to nod your head so I know we can move on. Beautiful. And when you realize it's locked in, impossible for it to go back the way it was, many of you might hear a click coming off to somewhere of the sides. And I want you to move and start moving into the direction of where you heard that click. And as you go over there, that's right, I want you to notice that another door has opened up. A different door has been opened. And you know that how there's been these feelings you've been having. I asked you these things that you've been wanting to let go of, some feelings you've been wanting to change. Well, behind this door is another gray room. But this gray room is everything pertaining to these feelings. Everything pertaining to these feelings you've been wanting to change. That's right. And when you're ready, and only if you're ready, I want you to reach out, open that door completely, and I just want you to go inside. That's right. And then close that door behind you. And you see yourself in another gray room. You notice that there is another circular place in the middle of this room. And as you look around on the wall, another set of colored squares. A set of colored squares that represent the things we want to let go of. A set of squares that, represent the positive things. But these sets of squares are all related to that thing you want to let go of. The negative things, the limited beliefs and blockages that are holding you back, specifically to what you choose to change today. That's right. And since I know you're already an expert in the gray room now, I want you to walk over to one of those things you want to change. I want you to touch it. Notice where you're feeling it in your body. And when you're ready to let go, rip it off the wall, crumble it up, rip it apart. Feel it's losing its power over you. That's right. Is it doing great? And when you're ready to let go of it for once and for all, whoosh, into the fire it goes. That's right. And notice that fire washing over you. Drink in all that beautiful new energy. Notice how it goes into the places where that old feeling used to be. That's right. You guys are doing great. And you know what to do. I just want you to go to town on this room. I just want you to rip any less than positive square off that wall. That's right. All these squares representing a less than positive belief, memory, or experience related to that thing you want to change in your life. I just want you to rip it off the wall, crumble it up. That's right. When you're ready to let go of it, into the fire it goes. That's right. Beautiful. Look at all those squares coming off. Look at you guys doing it. You're doing great. Beautiful. Just keep cleaning that up. There you go, Marcia. Wow. Amazing. That's right. Beautiful. There you go, Patricia. Yes. Good job, Zane. Nice. All doing great. Beautiful. Just keep throwing it in the fire. Leave no stone unturned. This is your chance to get rid of those things for once and for all. Beautiful. That's right. Don't forget to check under those positive things. Stuff gets misfiled. Sometimes things are hiding under there. Just rip it from under there. That's right, Richard. Those things want to hide sometimes. That's right. You got it. Can't get that past your higher self. Beautiful. Throwing it into fire. Do the same thing. Keep repeating it. Don't forget to test it. When you know it's done, you just move on to the next one. You guys are doing great. That's right. Keep cleaning it up. Know that everything you clear off of this wall is gone for once and for all. Anything that's on that wall, the fact that you can even see it knows that your higher self says, yes, it's ready to let go of it. Yes, now is the time. I'm so glad you're finally doing this. This stuff should no longer be holding you back. It's time to become your best self, and your higher self knows exactly how to get you there. We just got to pay attention. We just got to work with this beautiful, this deeper part of our mind to let go of it. That's right. You guys are doing great. Then call in your help. If there's a lot there, call in that help. Have them help you. One time I had owls coming in and they were just picking stuff off the wall and just dropping it into the fire. That's right. Beautiful. And then I want you to notice as those last squares are going into that fire, this beautiful thing is starting to happen again. Now, with only those positive squares left, notice how they start to light up with this inner radiance, how they're starting to expand, expanding your awareness of everything that you love in your life, everything that makes you feel great, anything related to that issue that you might not even remember now, anything that's positive, just starting to light up, expanding, just surrounding you with a beautiful, glowing wallpaper. That's right. Breathe in that energy. Breathe it through every cell of your body. Breathe it through every part of your mental body, every part of your emotional and spiritual body, just charging you up with everything you want most in your life. That's right. Keep breathing it in. No need to hold back. There's an infinite, unlimited supply of that energy available for you. And with every breath you take, with every beat of your heart, notice how more and more of that energy is just filling you up. That's right. Notice the cells in your body tingling. Notice this excitement in your body, knowing that you have just shifted your consciousness, that you've just come way closer to that even better version of yourself, to closer to everything you most want in your life. That's right. You're all doing amazing. You're pros at this. Beautiful. Good. You're all doing fantastic. And keep breathing in that energy. Now, in a moment, not yet, but in just a moment, I'm going to count from 1 to 5. And when I reach the number 5, you'll emerge from this process, bringing with you all the transformations and revelations. Head clear, mind clear, thinking and acting with calm self-assurance, feeling good all over and glad to be alive and ready to thrive. Number 1, slowly feel yourself returning to this place we call reality, bringing with you a brand new reality, like a phoenix rising from the ashes, renewed like a butterfly emerging from a cocoon. One phase of your transformation complete, the next phase, the best phase, just beginning, ready to spread your wings and take to the air and soar amongst the clouds to experience life, the universe, and everything from a much higher and much more enlightened perspective. Number 2, all of my suggestions from me to you and from you to your other than conscious mind are now 10 times more powerful, 100 times more permanent, and 1,000 times more thrilling, fulfilling, and satisfying than ever before. Embraced and held and locked into that part of your neurology, of your psychology, of your mind, body, and soul that can most readily identify, express, and manifest all of these changes in all the ways that give you the life you want, the way you want it. Number 3, at least always 3 ways to overcome any obstacle, any situation or circumstance you might face. Always at least 3 solutions to any problem you need to solve, and your other than conscious mind will now easily, effortlessly, seamlessly, and automatically generate those solutions and implement them for you in the quickest, easiest, and most effective way for the good of yourself and for the good of all involved. Number 4, because it's all for you. You've done the work. You've followed the instructions. You made the journey. You tested the results, and you have earned the right to those rewards and the right to keep them. It's your reality. It's your truth. It's your life. And you live it to the fullest, fully empowered, ready to go, starting right now. On the next count, The number 5, ready to thrive and feeling alive. Number 5, come back to this reality at the rate and speed that ensures all these changes are cemented in. Take your time, open your eyes, and notice how good you feel. Nice. Seeing a lot of smiles. Marcia's taking her time. She's still bathing in that beautiful energy. That's right. Beautiful. You guys did amazing. What's fun for me is I get to watch, and you would not believe how I can just see everybody's faces just change. How I can see the body get more relaxed, and you getting into it, I can just feel the energy just shift in every moment. I just notice how much more expanded your energy fields are getting. So I get to really enjoy that because I can feel it and I can see it in all of you. And just knowing that your lives are not going to be the same for now, that you have less baggage to carry, that garage we talked about earlier, Zane, that is like there's less stuff in there, meaning that there's space for new things in your life. Beautiful.
Fill it full of cosmic towers.
That's right. Nice. Guys did amazing. So what I would just like you to do is like, if you can even remember it, I just want you to tune into that thing, that you picked, that you wanted to work on. And then when you tune into that, I want you to notice how different that feels now. That's right. So anybody, if you want to share with each other, if you want to share something with the group, unmute yourself or put up your hand and just feel free to share. Same. And then we're seeing.
If I were to use an image, would be like melting of the frozen, like something that's been shelved, or like it becomes like taking up space really. And it's just I had the feeling of fresh flowing water, like trickling and then
Beautiful.
flowing. So and then this voice came to me. Everything is fresh.
That's right. Because
For
that's
sure.
kind of what happens as we entangle with these old stories. As we connect with them, we kind of cool them and we freeze them into place. And they become this solid thing. While everything always is in movement and is dynamic in the river of life. Just a flow, and just being in that flow, allowing ourselves to be fully into that, things will show up because guess what? Something always happens. And then when it does happen, we might get an insight or we might know where to go, and you can just trust that. Thank you. Thank you, Zane. Marcia, how are you doing? You were really into it. I love it.
They always say that the one thing that you hate is what you get. And I noticed today, I guess I already knew it, but it brought me back that the one thing I can't stand is being a victim. And I realize I have been the victim and I have been being the victim. And yeah, so everything that I hated was actually everything that I've allowed to be created.
That's right. And it's not that you've been a victim. It's just that there was a small part of you that chose that. You just gave it a bit more attention than the part of you that's always empowered.
Well, I think that, it's been said that before you come into this earth plane, that you've already set up this role playing that you're going to be with the person that's going to do it to you. And and I've allowed that. And I think because of this week and everything I've gone through, it's like it's time for me to take back my power and not be the victim anymore.
That's right. You know, I know that whatever happened to you, whatever beliefs we have and all, it's not your fault, but it is your responsibility. What we become aware of is our responsibility, to let go of. All right. And when you truly get that perspective of knowing that these challenges, that they're not burdens, or as Zane says, things done to us, the more we can hold that perspective, the quicker we move out of this, right? Because guess what? 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, 10 years from now, we're going to realize how it served us. So we might as well cut the time, cut the crap, and just ask yourself, what else could this be for us? What positive thing could come out of this? Why could my higher self given me this challenge? What's on this other side of it? Right? That's when you see something and you feel like it's quote unquote negative or less than positive, ask yourself, what else could it be? And know that even if there's no conscious answer, your unconsciousness will go and look at what else it could be, and it will start feeding that into you. And that's how we get out of this frozen state, saying that is like lighting the fire to consciousness, to the ice that has been solidified there.
Mm, mm.
Beautiful. Is it great? All right. Anybody else wants to share?
So my pattern is to hold back,
Mm-hmm.
just holding back, and that I wanted to let go of. And normally I would have just not said anything or shared anything. And I thought, well, that would be the old pattern. So I just wanted to share kind of that, how powerful it was to feel that some of the experiences were in the cells of my body,
Yes.
like where my appendix scar is,
Mhm.
was the memory of when I wanted a glass of water in the hospital after the surgery. I was a child. I was 10. And the nurse came and she scolded me
Mm-hmm.
for calling for her and asking for a glass of water.
Wow.
And yeah, and it was there in the appendix scar. I could feel that. And I guess it still brings up some emotion about that, and feeling like that's part of the belief that I don't deserve to be given attention or be given care. And I better not reach out because I'll just get scolded or no
Wow.
one will be there. So, yeah, I'm wanting to let go of the holding back and be freer to be who I am in the world, and to feel that the world is a safe place that I can trust.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having the courage and speaking up here. And I want to share something really beautiful with you. I've worked with people with appendicitis, and I went to also look it up in a book. It was not Louise Hayes, but it talks about those underlying patterns. And I actually just pulled it up because you were talking about this specifically. And what it reads with appendicitis is loss of power, feeling like you can't get what you want.
Right.
Denial
Absolutely.
of life, feeling rejected, fearful, and angry. So-
Exactly that for me.
Beautiful. That's amazing. And see, it already shifted for you, because where before you wouldn't have spoken up or feel like you were maybe good enough to speak, or nobody would want to hear it. Here there was already something within you, meaning you've already made the shift within, and now with having the courage and taking the small step of sharing in this group, you've already actualized and are already doing it in your life. And see how beautiful it is. So you can trust that, and you can continue to do that. Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Ricky. Richard.
So one of the observations that I made, I get anxious about change. But when I also realized that the good thing about change is change itself. Like when we're experiencing pain or fear, that will pass. That in that moment, you forget that it's going to pass. You think it's going to last forever, the fear of the pain. So it's to remind myself that change is part of life and it's adapt or die or perish, really. So it's like reminding myself that no matter how uncomfortable I am, this is a momentary thing. This will pass. Just like when I'm in joy, this is a momentary thing. This will pass. So that's all good. Just become an observer of it, an observer of what life is, rather than judging and worried about how long it's going to last. Just experience it and move on. I think that's the challenge for me. Experience it and moving on and just being the observer and not interacting with it particularly, just observing it. Yeah.
That's great. And know that there's only one thing that never changes, Richard, and that's everything always changes.
Which will change. Yeah. Get used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
You're probably familiar with the TV show The Chosen. And it's about the life of Christ. The phrase I love the most is things are changing, get used to it.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Yeah.
That's
Get
right.
used to change because that's what life is.
That's right. And then you come to love it.
Yeah.
You
Look
know, it's
forward
gonna
to
be pretty
embracing-
boring if everything always stays
embracing the
the
change.
same.
Yeah, and I think we've admitted here we got a lot of changes as our society needs to make, so we need to embrace those changes, and the sooner the better.
You know what? And that happens as you are shifting within. You have no idea. I keep repeating this, but you have no idea. It's the biggest impact
Yes.
you can make. You know, the Taoists have a saying that they say only a fool tries to change the world. The master changes himself, and know that the world will change on its own accord.
So there are more and more groups that are worldwide that are doing meditations, collective meditations at a certain time of the day. They all do mass meditations, which I think is wonderful, raising the consciousness on this planet. Yeah.
That's right, and it is going, and it's yeah. Remember, when you're looking at the outside world, you're always looking at the past. You're looking at what was once the sum total of our beliefs and all of that being manifested. But the moment you look at it, it's already the past. What's being manifested is how you feel now within. That is what determines our future, right? Nice. Great. All right. Just gonna open it up. Anybody else, or we
Nico,
good?
you said only the what tries to change the world? Only the
Only when you change yourself.
no,
And
you said only the blank tries to change.
Oh, only a fool tries to change the
fool.
world. The master, the wise man, changes himself and knows that the world will change on its own accord at its own speed. Yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome, Megan.
And so I really did enjoy this. Like one of the things for me personally for release was when I first walked in was the fear of like losing love and like the fear of the pain that comes with being vulnerable at times. And when I walked in, it was funny because for me it was like an overgrown like it wasn't just gray at first. At first it was like an overgrown like garden almost, like it was just weeds everywhere. And so then it went to gray, but it was funny because in the first room it was like when I got through everything, it was like just a big plasma TV just everywhere. And it was like just like the reality almost of like these beautiful colors and stuff. And it was like getting all the dirt and ick and posters of what other people would have put on through. And so that was really interesting. And then when I went to the second room, it was like my throat started filling up, and so when I felt it, it was almost like I felt like a vibration, just like singing or like talking, and like the vibration within, and it just washed everything away so quick in a way. And so it was again like another thing, like a dome TV plasma thing where I'm like, oh, okay. And like, and the more of is, you know, faith in just the process of, you know, love and acknowledging and seeing the universe and the communicating with it. And it was like, well, it's all here. I'm the one putting junk in the way. And so, anywho, it was a really cool experience.
That's amazing. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Right. Well, thank you everybody for showing up and doing this. And just notice over the next couple of days and weeks how things shift in your life. And they might have already shifted for many of you. You know me, like you already noticed the change. And if at any time you want to repeat this process, we now have also recording of just the gray room. That's in your membership section in the playlist, just the gray room part. And the simple thing is, whatever it is, you don't want to try to remember it in the process. You tune into it before the process. That's the secret to like change, because if you're going to try to do it while you're in the process, the part that is trying to recall it, right, will actually keep you out of the process. Right? So that's why you do it before the process. Let those feelings come up. Think about it, what it is that you want to change. Really let yourself feel it. Let it go. Turn the recording on. Go in. You can trust that your unconscious mind knows what it is that you're there for, so you don't need your conscious mind to come in and interrupt the process. Just let the unconscious roll with it. Okay. Marcia, did you have a question or?
Yes, so you would suggest not to go back through this and journal about it?
You can if you want. I mean, one of the things that happens is people try to understand why things are there. And why do we do that? Because we think if we understand why it's there, that it will go away, consciously or unconsciously. While it's the other way around. If we just clear the feeling and just release that, if any insight is needed, it will come after the clearing. You have no idea how many clients. Patter used to be the expert at that, but I want to understand like why it's there. I was like, Patter, trust me, let it go. Once we clear the feeling, the insight will come. And sure thing, it would happen. And you know what, Marcia? Some of the stuff on that wall simply ain't ours. It's just stuff that we've inherited from our parents, from our ancestors, from society. It's their limiting beliefs that we didn't even come up with. Actually, I can say 99% of the stuff of the old limiting beliefs and things that are holding you back never were even yours to begin with. You've just got them from the outside world, from your parents, from your caretakers, from school, and you've just made them your own.
I feel that when we were doing it, and I felt like we were going pretty fast for me because I just couldn't. And I was going, okay, now, do I need to go back and make sure that I got everything? I think that was my ego telling me that, yeah, maybe you should do this again and then do it a little bit slower and then make sure you get it all.
If you feel called, absolutely do so. But as I said in the process too, know that this will linger. Like as we're doing this, you've given a very clear set of instructions to your other than conscious mind. So it just keeps working in the background and keeps shedding that. And you can trust that. And actually, one of the things you can do that I did in the beginning when my gray room was a freaking jungle of stuff. And what I would do is I would take the recording and I would do it as I was like laying in bed and then clearing it. And then I'd just like fall asleep. Guess what my unconscious mind was doing for 8 hours?
Oh.
Clearing it. And then you wake up in the morning, you're like, "Ooh, I feel so much lighter. Remember that the last thing you are doing in your mind before you fall asleep, that's what your mind's going to be focused on, for the next 8 hours. So if your habit is worrying, you're just giving your mind the instruction to keep working on manifesting all those worries for the next 8 hours. So much better to do a process like this and then just doze off and just go. And that's the way we can use our unconscious mind and our sleep to actually move us towards what we want, versus putting all that effort in with the what ifs or what might happen, all things that we don't want.
Yeah.
Trisha.
I've kind of lived with some kind of depression a lot. Inherited from my mother, and most of the family is on antidepressants other than me. My drug of choice has always been busyness.
Yeah.
I just get too busy to feel any depression. And I feel through this process, I feel a freedom from that underlying feeling of depression. It just feels really good to just let it go and not pull it back. Just let it go. And I feel like they said the American Indians say when you heal 7 generations back and 7 generations forward. So all the depression that's been in my family, by doing what I just did and letting go of that underlying feeling of depression, it's helping my mother and my sister, and who are all on the other side. And thank you. Feels very freeing inside.
It absolutely does. And that depression, so believe it or not, that runs in my family too. But what I figured out with people that have depression, and also with myself when I was dealing with that, if you look at those images, we make everything we don't like, everything that's limited, we make it so big in that room, and there's such big squares that everything that's positive about us, everything that we love about life is all shrunk down and behind it. So what I need to do with people that deal with depression is just we're gonna like clear out all that stuff that's been made so big. And then at the end of the process, you can go and look at all the things that make life joyous, that make you enjoy life, and make those bigger again. Right, and bring them to the foreground. I mean, it's really a choice. So I don't say depression runs as a dis-ease in my family. It's just the tendency to what is, less than positive, to just make that bigger than what is positive. That's the only tendency that gets carried over.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for showing up and participating and for doing the work. It gives me great joy to know that as you are changing, everybody around you change, because you radiate that out. You give other people the permission to change and to be courageous, and to let go of things. And as we do that, it's the most powerful thing that we can do to change our society. And it always goes that way. We release what no longer serves us within. We amplify what we love. And from that place, then an inspiration comes from our heart to go change the world. And that is the right energy. That is our power. And those are the changes that really shift the world. So thank you, all of you, for doing that. I really appreciate you. And I will see you next month.
Thank you so.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Is
you.
it always the second Thursday, Nico,
Yep,
for you?
yep, that's correct.
I will put it on my calendar again.
Yeah, I'll probably see you from south of France next month.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Well, I'll go there with you.
You'll be there in spirit at least. Thank
Thank
you.
Great trip.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.